Halo Reach Firefight and Halo 3 ODST Firefight are some of my favorite game modes to play when I'm bored. However, when playing with random teammates, it can be more than challenging to try to work with a team that doesn't know what they're doing, doesn't know how to position themselves properly, and waste the team's life by doing foolish things. In this video, I'll be teaching you guys how to play Halo Reach Firefight. However, there are a couple key points I need to add before I start. Halo Reach Firefight is a much more flexible playstyle compared to ODST. You have arm abilities that can increase movement or straight up heal you, unlimited ammo from the ammo lockers, and loadouts to pick and choose from. Now I know what you guys are probably thinking of right now. Where are the power weapons going to be located in these maps? Well, 2 power weapons will spawn on the beginning of a new set. A sniper rifle, Spartan laser, rocket launcher, and a target locator, in which duplicate weapons can show up. As well, your HUD will show you the exact location of these power weapon drops, so there's no reason for me to tell you where these drops are. It'll be on your HUD, so just go check on the weapons, and if nobody grabs them, keep them for later. If you guys are wondering what weapons are top tier or bottom tier trash, I've made a tier list video you can click on the top right. Now let's get started with the first map, Beachhead. Beachhead is a large-scale map with 2 ammo lockers located here and here, as well as a rocket warthog located on the left side of spawn here, and a ghost just chilling on the right side here. 4 medkits are located right beside one of the ammo lockers, and 1 more is located around the second ammo locker. So playing Beachhead is rather simple. If you decide to hold the spawn position, then using a DMR or other form of long-range weapon can keep yourself safe while you headshot enemies from afar. If you're deciding to hold the middle area, continue to distract enemies and pop things like shields and helmets for your guys sniping in the back. A last alternative is to use the Warthog, Ghost, or hijack a raid. Yes, you heard me right. Any map that has a raid spawn is able to be hijacked on. If you kill the enemy in the turret and hop into the turret, the enemy driving will come out and that's when you kill him, giving you a fully repaired raid. The second way of killing the Wraith is to kill the turreted enemy, mount the Wraith from the front, and melee the Wraith until the hatch opens up. From there you can either get out and try to kill the elite still in the driver's seat, or you can melee for a final time, killing the elite but making the Wraith incredibly damaged. Now this is incredibly simple until drop pods come in. When drop pods come in, they have a chance being grunts with fuel rods, regular brutes, upgraded brutes, ranger elites, or elite ultras. The drop pods will land besides the spawn stairs, so if the ultras come in, which are the fast white ones, be prepared with a plasma pistol and headshot weapon, as they are incredibly strong and can kill an entire team if not properly managed. The others are not so bad with the pods, just make sure to keep your distance. Hunters are still able to spawn in. If you do not have a power weapon that can help you with the hunters, use a grenade launcher or shotgun to deal massive damage to them, but make sure to keep moving. Beachhead is a massive map, meaning you can easily flank the hunters to get on their backs if need be. When a final wave comes in, make sure you keep your distance. Use the target locator if you still have it, and make sure that you keep an eye and ear out, because chances are, if it's the last wave, an elite with an energy sword will come out of a random corner, and if Cloud is on, you won't be seeing it until it's too late. Corvette is a smaller map. All of your ammo and all of your medkits are in the spawn area. Now I know I said that I wouldn't cover power weapon spawns, but this map is an exception. The weapons will spawn on the corners of the large shield wall where the ships come in and drop off enemies from. There are 2 plasma turrets sitting on the opposite side of spawn, right on the balconies here. The target locator is unable to spawn for this map. You're inside the spaceship, the thing wouldn't work. Playing Corvette is extremely simple. Since your ammo and health is located right at spawn, it is very advantageous that you stick around the spawn area, and it is very annoying to continuously run back and forth to grab more ammo. However, eventually you will have to head towards the other side, as enemies can hide on those ramps and the next round will not progress. So talking about the spawns, the enemies have the ability to spawn in on every single door in that room except for the ones inside spawn, and also have the possibility of spawning from that phantom, including Wraiths. I don't know what sick prank the Bungie developers were thinking, but at least you can ride in it if you want. Another enemy that can spawn is the Engineer. The Engineer works way different from their ODST counterpart. You do not need to use a plasma weapon to kill it this time. Just shoot it in its head will do the trick. You will know an Engineer is around when the enemies have that purple aura around them. The Engineer will typically directly on top of the ceiling, or more commonly above the balcony where the plasma turrets are. Last bit of info is that since this map is so small, the loadout you choose does not really matter. DMR players can play off the balconies, shotgunners can play off the ramps where there's lots of cover, and grenade launchers can get some nice multi-kills if you time it correctly with those doors or the phantom drop. Courtyard spawn has an ammo locker and 2 medkits, with another 2 located right outside the top door. Another locker can be located just further down left of spawn, and 2 more medkits directly across the bridge here. There's a turret that spawns on top of this ramp here, and a drivable forklift. Don't use it. So defending Courtyard is even more simple. Just stay on the balconies and shoot at them. That's it. The enemies will always spawn from phantoms coming in from the left side, right side, or right by the turret. I wouldn't recommend defending from below, as there is not as much cover, and head peeking from the balconies can get some mad results. Even if you have a shotgun, enemies that have a good range will damage your shields and health heavily, so if you're running the close range classes, I'd recommend using it for enemies that'll eventually come up the ramps. If the enemies are starting to overwhelm your balcony positions, either run to the opposite balcony and continue firing from there, or head towards the second ammo locker. It's a narrow stretch that has a lot of breathing room. Glacier is an interesting map in a sense that it's the only map to have fixed power weapon spawn every set, meaning you don't have to worry about getting a random power weapon every set. The sniper will be located on the closest pillar here, the Spartan laser is located here, and all the way down here is a rocket launcher. The ammo lockers are located in spawn and on the elevated position here. 2 medkits are located inside of spawn, and 2 medkits are located just on the left here beside one of the 3 turrets. The second turret is located by the second ammo locker up here, and the last one is located right by the rocket launcher. One thing about Glacier is that the target locator is unavailable for this map. Considering you're deep underground and weapon spawns are fixed, this kinda makes sense. It's kinda like Corvette. So with Glacier, you typically want to stick to either that elevated position, stick to the middle area, or chill on the left side standing on top of those rocks. Now there is a couple things to note about your positioning. The phantoms may decide to drop right in front of your base. If you see a phantom dropping off troops here, those holding the middle part should go back into spawn and start killing as many as they can. If you're holding the left or right sides while the phantom is there, simply hide behind a rock so the phantoms can't shoot at you. And as enemies start to approach, simply back up or rush into spawn. Depending on the type of enemy, if it's anything but elites, you should be fine to just hold your position. Wraiths and ghosts will also spawn in this map too. It is very important that you take these out or hijack them as soon as possible. A plasma pistol will do the job just fine. If you're having troubles with the hunters, either use a Spartan laser or rocket launcher to easily take them down, or rip off one of those turrets to deal massive damage. Holdout's ammo lockers are located in the bottom and center parts of the building where you spawn, with 2 medkits being on the bottom, 2 medkits being in the center, and 1 medkit being on the very top. There are 3 turrets located on the map, 1 on the left, 1 being on the top of the platform here, and 1 on the right. Holdout's positioning is very important, as unless you are holding the rooftop spawn, it will be easily succumb to enemy rushes, flanks, and possibly be killed by a banshee that spawns in. Now, there are a number of ways to deal with said banshee. The first and possibly the best way is to just simply shoot it down. You may not notice it right away, but if you put enough shots into it, especially with a DMR or mounted turret, you'll notice it taking damage. If enough people shoot at it, it will go down relatively quickly. Another way is to use power weapons. The Spartan laser is best for using this. The rocket launcher is okay for dealing with the banshee, but more often than not, the banshee will dodge your rockets. Do not use the target locator to take down the banshee. The target locator stops tracking after a little bit, completely wasting your ammo for it. So for positioning, I would recommend either holding the top of the spawn roof, the right side railing, or the left side of the building by the stairs. I wouldn't so much recommend holding the middle or landing pads, as Phantom and Banshees can mow you down pretty quickly. Last bit of info is to never use the turrets in their stationary position. Rip them off and use them however you see fit. They do a great amount of damage to those Banshees, so that's what I would recommend doing. But use them however you see fit. They spawn every set. Outpost is a large map with many great areas to defend from. The first ammo locker is located behind the main base here, with 3 medkits being inside the building, 2 medkits being on the side of the building here. The second ammo locker is located in this little bunker here with an extra medkit. There's a turret on top of the spawn bunker too. Outpost is one of those maps that can be quite a challenge if your team doesn't know where to hold. You probably guessed it, but I'm gonna recommend the DMR or pistol. This map really encourages you to stick by buildings, as there's not a lot of cover out there besides a few rocks. Of course you can easily take down grunts, jackals, and brutes, but once elites start popping in, you're gonna want some cover. Oh yeah, a ghost can spawn in from time to time from the phantoms. If you're camped out on top of the buildings, then you should have nothing to worry about, but if you're near the middle area, you're gonna have a bad time unless you take them out fast. You can also go for the hijack as well, and since this map is quite flat, you can get some easy kills with it. The phantoms spawn from far away, so while you can't really recommend things like a shotgun or a grenade launcher, if you're getting rushed down, then those are viable options. Overlook is quite possibly one of the most popular maps in Firefight rotation by far. Great cover, a lot of flexibility on where you can position yourself. The ammo lockers are located right next to this door here, and one is right in this room here. There's one medkit right by the ammo locker here, 2 medkits are located in the room where the second ammo locker is, there is one by the windows outside of that room, and 2 downstairs by this big door here. There's a turret located right here. So when playing Overlook, you can pretty much hold any part of this upper area. The area has many covers, so you can be quite flexible in the way you want. However, there's a big exception to this. A phantom can roll up directly under that turret or directly on your left. If this happens, fall back to the spawn or side areas if there's no enemies there. Drop pods can also spawn in as well. If they spawn in downwards the river or on the right cliff, you should be fine. But if they spawn on your left, almost behind you, it's in your best team's interest to kill them as fast as you can. You do not want fuel rod grunts or elite ultras shooting at you. Another thing that can spawn is raids. Now the raids spawn quite far away and usually will have lots of enemies guarding it. However, if you can grab one and bring it back over the bridge, you can essentially carry the whole game with it. For positioning, I usually see players using the DMR on top of the metal roofs or using the metal covers by the turret here. These are both amazing positions, but make sure you do not overextend past that metal barrier as you will get gunned down pretty easily. Remember that it's also important for somebody to hold the left and right side too, simply keeping an eye out for enemies coming in on the left or right so you don't get any surprise grenades, and you should do okay. Waterfront has 1 ammo locker for each building. There are 3 medkits in this building here and 2 medkits located over here. With Waterfront, there are 2 types of players, those who stick on the rooftop with headshot weapons and those who use close range weapons sticking in the bottom area. Both are very effective, but of course both playstyles have their downfalls. The players on the rooftops will not have any sort of cover besides maybe head glitching, and eventually have to come down for ammo. The players on the bottom have a much harder time with enemies rushing you down. Don't be afraid to run away and get some breathing room if needed. This map will have a beam rifle jackal occasionally spawn past the bridge. It is very crucial that somebody has a long enough ranged weapon to deal with him, otherwise your shields will take some heavy damage. The phantoms will either spawn right beside the bridge, right at the end of the road, or 3 phantoms will spawn by these refinery machines by the river. I would recommend you try and clear out as many as you can before they swarm your buildings, otherwise you're going to be left with nowhere safe to go. Unearthed is an extremely large map. The first ammo locker is located right inside the building where you can spawn here, while the other is located right beside the stairs here. There are 2 medkits located beside the first ammo locker in spawn, there are 3 medkits located around this bridge here, and the final medkit is located inside the building here. Continuing through that building will lead you to a turret. This map also has a rocket warthog located right beside the spawn stairs. So when playing this map, you'll notice that it's absolutely massive. While I know I've continuously said that the plasma pistol DMR combo cannot be beaten, here, that'll really show. Being able to pick off lots of enemies before they even get close can really help your team. Wraiths and ghosts will spawn on this map too, and grabbing yourself a wraith or a ghost can really help your team out with dealing with the harder to kill enemies like hunters or last wave enemies. For positioning, I would highly recommend holding the top of the balconies or holding that excavator belt. If you're using a close range weapon, then stick around the big doors that can allow you to pick off some enemies while having some cover. When phantoms spawn, they will either spawn on the very right or very left side, to the left or right of that mining shaft, or they'll land troops directly behind the mining shaft. If enemies start to swarm your position, go inside of spawn and try to pick them off one by one. You should be relatively safe in that spawn area. So Installation 04 is one of the most unique firefight maps since you spawn in with ODSTs already there. You also get ODST drops every time a set is complete. You also get a mongoose and warthog right at spawn. There's also a turret located right on top of the spire here. The first ammo locker is located on top of the main spire here, and the second one is located inside this little installation hole here with... Hey, wait a minute. Medkits are as follows. One is located inside the main spire here, one is located right beside the ammo crate on top of the spire, one is located inside that smaller installation structure beside the second ammo crate here, one is located on the left of the gravity cannon here, and finally, one is located at the wall of this installation structure here. So playing Installation 04 is quite fun. You can either stick in the bottom floor with a good amount of cover to use for close range combat, you can stick on top of the spire with a headshot weapon and go to town there, or you can use a warthog and mow down enemies with a machine gun. There is a lot of variety when it comes to this map. A Banshee will eventually spawn. You'll want to take it out as soon as possible. It can do a lot of damage to your team if not dealt with. Use a turret, DMR, or power weapon to deal with it. You may have noticed that I said there's a gravity cannon on this map. Enemies will try and take it and then makes it land right on top of the spire. So if there's a phantom dropship landing near it, be prepared for enemies on top of the spire. Remember that all types of enemies can use it, from grunts to hunters to last wave enemies, so be on guard. That's all the maps for Halo Reach Firefight. Thank you so much for watching. I was initially going to include generator firefight tips in this video. However, it seems that MCC has removed generator firefight from the matchmaking system, so only Firefight Classic is here. Remember that this is very much a guideline for heroic firefight, and since Halo Reach is much more flexible than ODST, newer players should have an easier time with it. Simply keep an eye on your HUD, use the DMR if unsure about your loadouts, and you should be good to go. If you guys have any more tips about firefight or disagree with what I said, please leave a comment below and tell me. Thank you guys, and take care.